For a while it seemed that Toyota was behind in electric vehicles. They'd had a lot of success and experience with hybrids, but were slow to bring a full EV to market, while competitor brands like Volkswagen, Skoda, Kia and Hyundai charged ahead. But now they have three. They have the CHR Plus, the BZ and the BZ Touring. But in Ireland, the BZ and the CHR Plus are actually priced the same, for now at least, but there are a few differences between them. So if you're interested in buying a new electric Toyota SUV, do stay watching, because I'm going to compare the BZ and the CHR Plus to help you decide which one is the best buy for you. The BZ is actually a class above the CHR Plus, so it's a bit bigger, but Toyota has priced the two cars the same. So €42,000 160, that's for the sport grade in either car. So it is good value. Now this is a competitive part of the market. You've got things like Hyundai Ioniq 5, Tesla Model Y, Skoda Enyaq and Volkswagen ID4. But of course, Toyota's Ireland's best-selling car brand. They've got a very good dealer network, and the BZ is a frequent visitor to the best-selling electric cars in the country. The BZ is a dress size bigger than the CHR Plus, so it sits in the D segment, whereas the CHR Plus is in the C segment, which is a bit more compact. But they both share Toyota's hammerhead design language, and the BZ also got a little bit of an update this year. It's a subtle update, but it's actually refined its appearance, and I really like it. You've got those sleek LED headlamps, and all that cladding that used to be around the wheel arches, which is quite pronounced, is now finished in gloss black. There's also roof rails for that SUV vibe, and 18-inch alloy wheels, which are the best for range. I really like this colour as well. I just think overall it's a really classy car, and I love that sleek, futuristic design. The CHR Plus is a little bit lower and sleeker than the BZ, and its design is inspired by, of course, the CHR Hybrid and its famous coupe SUV silhouette. At the front, you do get that same hammerhead design language, so there's a big similarity between them when viewed head-on, like this thin LED lighting, and around the sides, 18-inch alloy wheels on the sport grade, just like BZ, but a different design. This one also has those hidden rear door handles that not everybody is a fan of. The BZ does have proper ones at the back, so kind of depends on your preference. Personally, I prefer the CHR Plus. I like its sporty, sleek style and that coupe-like roofline, but I've always been a bit of a CHR fan, so let me know what you think in the comments. The CHR Plus uses a slightly larger battery. It's 77 kilowatt hour with up to 607 kilometers of range. The BZ uses a 73.1 kilowatt hour with up to 567 kilometers of range. Now they're both lithium ion batteries. On paper, efficiency is quite similar, but I imagine if you are spending a lot of time on the motorway, the CHR Plus is just going to get you that little bit farther on a single battery charge. Inside the BZ, it's not particularly glamorous, but it is well built and solid in that typical Toyota fashion. No squeaks or rattles, and I really appreciate that about the BZ. For the update, they have adjusted some of the ergonomics around here, so you now have two wireless smartphone charging pads and a brand new touchscreen. But like before, you do have this low set steering wheel, and you look over that at the digital driver display. I do find the floor in the BZ quite high. It's noticeable as you're getting in and out, and also in the rear of the car. When it comes to storage, you have cup holders. This is a lovely deep cubby, and it's hinged on either side. So they've obviously taken that innovation from Lexus. There's no glove box, but they have a lot of space under this centerpiece. So you can see the manual is down there. The touchscreen is good. It's a large size. And yes, there's a lot of reliance on touch control for things like the climate settings, but they've put in these proper dials to adjust the temperature, and it also has some buttons for quick functions like demisting the rear screen. There's also shortcuts here along the side, so I do find this easy enough to interact with. It won't drive you crazy. The Sport also has these fabric seats. They have a little bit of synthetic leather finish on the sides. They're really comfortable. And equipment levels are excellent on the Sport. Lots of standard safety features like blind spot monitor, adaptive cruise control. There's also dual zone climate. There's a parking camera, heated front seats, power adjustment for the driver's seat, and a heated steering wheel. Inside the CHR Plus is very similar when you look at your 14-inch touchscreen and your digital driver display. But some of the materials are different. So for example, the wood trim in the dash and that lovely suede material in the doors. So it just feels a little bit more stylish and sophisticated in here. But the quality is still excellent. You've got that rock solid feel that I really appreciate about both cars. Another thing I've noticed is that I feel like the driving position is a little bit more natural here in the CHR Plus. The floor doesn't seem quite as high as you're getting in, so it's just a bit simpler and more natural to get comfortable from behind the wheel. It's just as well equipped as the BZ and the Sport grade, so you get things like the heated steering wheel, heated front seats, and 2 wireless smartphone charging pads. The only thing that the CHR Plus and the Sport grade is missing is power adjustment for the driver's seat, so it's manually adjusted, but that's no big deal really, and generally it's just really well equipped. Charging speeds are similar as well, so 11 kilowatt AC, 150 kilowatt DC, 10 to 80% in about 28 minutes. There's also a heat pump and battery preconditioning. But Toyota has worked on the efficiency of their charging, particularly in cold weather, and both cars benefit from that. So this is a longer vehicle overall, and that's good for the boot space. But before we have a look at that, I do like the sleek styling of the BZ. It is something different to its rivals like Volkswagen ID4 and the Skoda Enyaq. But a few things to note about that. So there's no rear wiper, and for the Irish climate, I think it could really do with one. Also, they finished this part of it a bit differently depending on the trim. So this is the Sport, but if you go for the Premier, you get 2 little aerodynamic domes on either side, which actually look really cool. Probably not enough though to upgrade to the Premier just for that, particularly with the price difference. When it comes to boot space, you've got 452 litres, which is really good. That's obviously more than the CHR. It's a nice wide opening. This is flat. You have underfloor storage for your charging cables. That's really neat. Removable parcel shelf. And there's also a 3-point socket, which is handy to have. Just like the BZ, the CHR Plus has no rear wiper. But in the Sport grade, you do have these little aerodynamic domes that help the airflow over the car, and a very stylish ducktail spoiler. Boot space is good, 416 litres, but not quite as big as what you get in the BZ. But let's say you're coming from a CHR hybrid. This has actually got a bigger boot, so I think you'll really appreciate that. It also has handy features like underfloor storage for your charging cables. The rear seats split fold, and there's also a 3-point socket in this one as well. But I suppose bear in mind that if you do have a large family with lots of things, or maybe you are a taxi driver doing airport runs, then I think you'll appreciate the extra space of the BZ. If you want to understand why so many taxi drivers in Ireland drive BZs, you definitely have to sit back here because there's so much legroom. So this is definitely the best option if you need a lot of space in the back, if you're carrying adult passengers quite regularly as well. Now, that floor is high, as I've already said, so there is not a huge amount of thigh support. You do have to slouch down to get more comfortable, but there's plenty of space to stretch out. There's Isofix on the 2 outer seats. There's also this armrest with cup holders. No tri-zone climate, but you do have vents and 2 USB-C ports. It definitely feels cozier here in the back of the CHR Plus, but this does have a longer wheelbase than the CHR Hybrid. So if you are trading in from that car, you'll notice that there is more legroom. It doesn't feel quite as dark and cramped. So for example, I'm sitting behind that seat, which is set for me. And as you can see, I do have extra legroom. It will be tighter for anybody in the middle because of the width of the car. So it'll be more comfortable for people on the outer seats than having 3 across the rear bench, as you probably would get into the BZ quite comfortably. There's Isofix on those 2 outer seats. And one thing to note, just like in BZ, I do find that there's not a huge amount of thigh support with the way the seat is set and the floor. So you sort of have to have your knees like that to get a bit more comfortable. It's probably just a limitation of the platform. You do have your armrest with cup holders, there's 2 USB-C ports, and there's vents, pockets in the back of those seats. The other thing to note is that the rear doors don't open quite as wide as in the BZ. So I suppose if you're regularly carrying adults in the back, or you just want a big, generous family car, then the BZ is probably going to be the better option. They're both front-wheel drive, 224 horsepower. There's no real emphasis on the all-wheel drive for the Irish market. But now I want to talk more about the BZ on Irish roads. So this car has had an update. You've got more range, which is good compared to the first iteration, but they've also worked on efficiency, and that's good news for Irish drivers. So I'm seeing about 14.9 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers in this summer Irish weather, and it's consistent as well. So it's not struggling to maintain a good efficiency, even in motorway driving. So those things will make big differences to how this second generation BZ performs on the road. It's really comfortable, as the first one was. It reacts very well to Irish roads, whether that's bumpy rural ones or town and city streets. It's good on a motorway cruise. They've also improved the refinement. So they put acoustic glass in the front windows and more soundproofing, because that was a big bugbear of mine in the original one, but this is definitely improved. The road noise is not such a feature as it was. Steering is well weighted, and it's just really solid and predictable on Irish roads. So if you're used to driving a Toyota, I think you'll get into this and you will just feel right at home. I do love how Toyota engineers cars, even something like the BZ. You can feel that it is driver focused, steering is well weighted, and it's more low slung than those taller SUVs like the Enyaq and the ID4, and I think that just makes you feel more connected to the road. It's not hugely exciting to drive, but it's very competent and predictable for Irish roads. Now I'm in the CHR Plus. Are there any differences? Well, they do share the same platform, but Toyota engineers have made tweaks to make the CHR Plus a little bit more agile and engaging to drive. And I would say they've worked really well, because this feels really sharp on the turn in, loads of grip from the front end, and combined with that better driving position, you just feel more at one with the vehicle, and it's a bit more fun and sporty to drive than the BZ. A little bit more agile because it's more compact. Refinement is still really good. Comfort is still really good. So on Irish roads, whether you're going from national primary roads, rural roads or motorway, it deals with them really well. Toyotas tend to be good on that. It also has that same quality and solid feel on the road as the BZ. So it shares a lot of the good qualities, but just a bit more athletic and fun on the road. There's also that bigger battery, so 77 kilowatt hour, not massively bigger, but you do get up to 607 kilometers of range. And this one is also a bit more efficient in my experience in real world driving. So I'm seeing about 12 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, which is really excellent. So brilliant, particularly if you do a lot of long distances on the motorway. You're going to get more on a single battery charge from this. So to wrap up the video, well, these are two really great cars that shine for quality, comfort, value for money and equipment. But there are a few distinct pros and cons between them. The BZ is the obvious choice if you need a bigger car with more passenger space and a bigger boot. However, beyond that, I do think the CHR Plus is slightly better overall, because it's a bit more engaging to drive, a better driving position, and also you get that longer range from that bigger battery, particularly if you're doing a lot of motorway driving. But let me know what you think. Will it be CHR Plus or BZ? I hope you found this video useful. If you have any further questions, do leave them in the comments below. You can find more great car reviews over on changinglanes.ie. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.